Good morning, students. Today's date is 30th of December. I'm going to teach you biology. Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you know the answer, please raise your hand and answer in complete sentences. Why do you go to zoo? We go to zoo to see different types of animals. What are the animals that eat flesh of other animals called? The animals that eat flesh of other animals are called carnivores. Name two carnivores? Yes, two carnivores are lion and tiger. Where does lion and tiger live? Yes, lion and tiger live in forests. What do you understand by conservation of forest and wildlife? Okay, students, so now I'm going to teach you about conservation of forest and wildlife. What are the animals that eat only plants or its part are called? Animals that eat only plant or its parts are called herbivores. What do you understand by conservation of forest and wildlife? Okay, conservation of forest and wildlife refers to the preservation and management of plant and animal species to protect them from being extinct. Forest can be conserved by maintaining biosphere reserves, wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, zoological parks, and botanical gardens. These are also called protected areas. Name the pigment responsible for green color of leaves. Chlorophyll is responsible for green color of leaves. What is biosphere reserve? Biodiversity is the variety of plants and animals and microorganisms generally found in an area. Biosphere reserves are the areas meant Biosphere reserves are the areas meant for conservation of biodiversity. A biosphere reserve may contain other protected areas in it. The Panchnami Biosphere Reserve consists of National Park named Satpura and two wildlife sanctuaries named Bari and Panchmari. Biosphere reserves also helps to maintain the culture of the area. What is the process through which plants prepare their own food are called? Plants prepare their own food through photosynthesis. What is a wildlife sanctuary? Okay. Wildlife sanctuaries like reserve forests provide protection and suitable living conditions to wild animals. Here, killing or capturing animals is strictly prohibited and punishable by law. People living in wildlife sanctuaries are allowed to do certain activities such as grazing livestock, collecting medicinal plants, firewood, etc. What are heterotrophs? Animals that cannot prepare their own food and hence they depend on plants or other animals for the food. They are referred to as heterotrophs. What is national park? National parks are large and diverse river reserves enough to protect a whole set of ecosystem. An ecosystem is made of all plants and animals and microorganisms in an area along with non-living components such as climate, soil, etc. National parks preserve flora, fauna, landscape and historical objects of an area. There are more than 100 national parks in India. Example, Corbett National Park, Kanha National Park. Okay, now I'm going to ask you the questions based on whatever I have taught today. Name one way to conserve forest and wildlife. One way to conserve forest and wildlife is biosphere reserve. Yes. What is biodiversity? Yes, biodiversity is the variety of plants, animals, and microorganisms generally found in an area. What is biosphere reserve? Yes, biosphere reserves are areas meant for conservation of biodiversity. What is wildlife sanctuary? Wildlife sanctuaries provide protection to wild animals. What is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is made of all plants, animals, and microorganisms in an area along with the non-living components such as climate, soil, etc. Fill in the blanks. Conservation of plant and animal and species to protect them from being extinct. Biosphere Reserve, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries are also called, yes, protected areas. Biosphere Reserve can contain dash protected areas. Yes, Biosphere Reserve can contain many protected areas. Killing or capturing of animals is strictly prohibited in. Yes, killing or capturing of animals is strictly prohibited in wildlife sanctuaries. There are more than 100 dash in India. There are more than 100 national parks in India. Okay. Students, note down today's homework. Write 5 lines on national parks. Okay. Everyone written? That's it for today. Thank you, class.